So what does it mean to you to have accomplished becoming the first female Chief Justice in Ohio?
It's good because I think I can be portrayed as a role model for younger students and younger Ohioans, that for two reasons. One, to emphasize that a woman can reach the pinnacle of the judiciary in the state of Ohio, as other women have across this country in other states. This is not unusual when you look at the makeup of women Chief Justices across this country. So that's, I think, a great example to set, both for female and for males, because sometimes the focus is, well, gee, we can show young women that they can achieve anything, but I think it's equally important to show young men that women can achieve anything as well. When I look at, you know, some of my role models and people that I, growing up, admired and were big influences on me, and I mean that personally, you know, it just is more meaningful to me, I think, in that respect than the public acknowledgement that this is the first woman. When I look at the influence of my grandparents and my parents, especially my mother and grandmother, and they were both very strong women who were accomplished and always told their children that they could do anything, and all it took was education and hard work, and that's true. The biggest challenge is, no surprise, it's going to be the budget. And we are in the process as a court right now in reviewing our options as to the budget for the next biennium. So that's going to be a challenge. And in many respects, we're going to have to react to what ultimately will be the amount of money that is available for the third branch of government. You know, we have some non-discretionary funding in the court. The bulk of our budget is non-discretionary funding. Out of the discretionary funds, I've identified a way to save, you know, the 10% that has been suggested by the governor, but I don't know what the new governor will have in mind when it comes to a budget. So we're kind of straddling two administrations here in trying to configure a budget. So I'm confident, though, as a court, as the third branch of government, we will devise a budget that will allow us to live within our means and still deliver the services that are constitutionally mandated for the judiciary to deliver across the state. You know, one of the components to the budget is not just the state budget, but the local contribution to the operations of the courts, and that's a huge concern as well. This might be the perfect opportunity to put together an advisory council that would be made up of all the stakeholders that are involved in our judicial system here in the state, and from the local level through the state government, and have the stakeholders come together and let's identify for the long term, you know, for systemic change, how we can economize, how we can identify efficiencies and accomplish those efficiencies, where we can have greater collaboration, where we can have sharing of resources. Maybe some operations we have in place now are archaic and need to be eliminated or updated. What will electronic filing do for efficiencies? How can we streamline operations? These are all topics that are going to be on the table with this advisory council that I want to put in place. One of the first things that I do as Chief Justice. I've learned so much from his style and his management style, and the fact that he was a firm believer in building consensus. And I think that's so vital, and that's why he was such a success in his role. And it's something that I would like to emulate, obviously use that and build upon it, because we have done as a court, and Tom, over the last 24 years, almost 24 years, has really redefined the judiciary in Ohio and our systems, and put in place programs that are recognized nationally, and that's all done with consensus building, and that's what I want to continue.